You feel very, very, you know, betrayed, but relax. Relax. Help is on the way. There's a lot in the background, and trust me, Mnangagwa will not succeed. Any plans that he has currently that is criminal from the start will not see the light of day. I can guarantee you that. Um, Zimbabwe comes first and its people. Okay, so you chill. You've seen the headline. Mnangagwa pushed Chiwenga to the edge now. He is in the edge. So again, there are lies that are being peddled out here that Miniyothabo, the wife of Chiwenga, she's desperate of being the president of Zimbabwe. Again, Mnangagwa being the source of discord and lies just to cause chaos while he's playing his dirty shenanigans. But this time around, he is heavily cornered and he can't escape. Serio said vanhu kubva kuzambia kuzoabusa constitution yezimbabwe ngavamiswe. They need to be stopped right now. There is a lot of reactions on social media from advocates to lawyers, you name it, business people, a lot of reactions. I know some of you, it's your first time to come across this channel. You are welcome. And please don't forget to subscribe and make sure you ring the bell. It's very important. Turn on notification button. That's the bell that I'm referring to. And to my regulars and number are just joining me right now. Shout out to you. It's a happy weekend. Always be positive. You know, you can never go wrong when you keep up your joy. Joy all the way until victory. But like I said, Mnangagwa is not going to succeed to turn Zimbabwe into a kingdom because all these foolish people don't even know that that's Mnangagwa's plan. Vesana Mudenda just being used. Zimbabwe, some of these guys, yeah, I know we've got incredible, smart, intelligent men and women, but we can never, discount the fact that we have a minute of disgusting human being. I mean, disgusting, and I repeat, we don't even know that some of their decisions are very costly, not only to us, but to generations to come. Zimbabwe can never be turned into a kingdom of Mnangagwa and his family. Again, don't forget that these people are trading on very dangerous covenants, diabolical satanic cults. If you think you can turn Zimbabwe into a kingdom, trust me, all of you will be worshiping Satan, including the church. All right. We need to move forward. So Ziyambi is out here again. He's out here endorsing the 2030 mantra. So this is to tell you that it has been passed within the parameters of ZANU-PF as a party in Mutare. Take a listen to Mr. Ziyambi, please, speaking. Interesting days ahead. Very interesting days.
National People's Conference of ZANU-PF held on 26 October 2024 in Bulawayo resolved as follows. In recognition of the extensive developmental milestones and the significant socio-economic progress achieved under the leadership of the President and First Secretary of ZANU-PF, His Excellency Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, it is resolved that his term of office as President of the Republic of Zimbabwe be extended beyond 2028 to 2030. The party and government are therefore directed to initiate the requisite legislative amendments to give full effect to this resolution to ensure continuity, stability, and the sustained transformation of the nation. Noting that no notable steps have been taken to implement the above resolution, this conference hereby reaffirms this resolution and directs the Secretary for Legal Affairs and the Minister of Justice to ensure that before the 23rd National People's Conference, this resolution of the party is fully implemented. Furthermore, all organs of the party, including the Central Committee and the Politburo, are directed to ensure that this resolution is fully implemented.
You know, I guess the day Emerson Mnangagwa came in the office in 2017 as the president, that day is cursed. It is cursed because it brought us to where we are today. Let me read what Tatenda said. He said it's no longer a ZANU-PF factional fight, as men still believe. This is not a national crisis that demands sober reasoning and a shift away from the internal fights narrative. ZANU-PF 3 Secretary Legal Affairs, Comrade Ziyambi has shamelessly declared at the party's 22nd National People's Conference that it is unresolved to extend President Emerson Mnangagwa's rule to 2028. In the same breath, the party has co-opted its chief financier, Kudata Gwire, into the Central Committee, openly cementing the marriage between political power and corrupt capital. This is not reform. This is the final stage of state capture. These moves are not isolated. They mark the beginning of a dangerous project to mutilate the constitution and erase every remaining trace of accountability. With a captured parliament, a compromised ZEC, and subdued courts, ZANU-PF is preparing to amend the law and crown Mnangagwa as the king Mutapa, the external ruler of a broken republic. Let's be clear, this is not Chiwenga's fight anymore. It's not about factions within ZANU-PF. It's about the soul of Zimbabwe. The struggle is now in the hands of citizens, workers, students, churches, war veterans, and even honest people still trapped within ZANU-PF. Zimbabwe's future will not be decided by party conferences or captured courts. It will be decided by a united people who refuse to be silenced. ZANU-PF delegates claim that Mnangagwa's visionary leadership has brought stability and transformation, but the truth is visible to all: poverty, corruption, joblessness, and decay. Their resolution directs both the party and government to begin the legal and administrative process of extending Mnangagwa's rule. They are moving fast, and so must we. This is a moment for Zimbabweans across party lines and generations to say no to dictatorship, no to constitutional mutilation, no to another decade of suffering. Our liberation heroes did not die for a monarch. Our constitution was not written to save one man, and our silence now would be surrender. Zimbabwe, the baton is in our hands. Let us defend our dignity and our constitution and our children's future before it's too late. I think it's talking to you and I, all of us, right? We're going to defend Zimbabwe before it's too late. Now I'm going to ask you to thumbs up the video. Let me tell you this. We start by acting on small things. I've told you last time that when you thumbs up the video, it helps YouTube to push algorithm. It also helps us to invite everyone to the conversation. Zimbabweans, let us not play games. This is a serious issue. Zimbabwe cannot be turned into a kingdom, meaning you and me will be worshipping Mnangagwa, or worshipping his children, or worshipping his concubines and his children's concubines, or worshipping every side chick. We are better than these Zimbabweans. And I'm asking you, please, let's do the right thing. Hold each other's hands and make sure Mnangagwa is stopped. Not only Mnangagwa, but no one will ever treat Zimbabwe the way that Mnangagwa has done and is still doing today. Mnangagwa came into a presidential space in 2017 in a criminal way, the coup that happened in 2017, which is refusing that this was not a coup. He also bashed the military. And I was like, where are the young guys in the military? Where are you? Look at what's going on in Madagascar. Look what happened in Nepal. The reason why we are where we are today is because the police, you protect Mnangagwa. And you protect criminals, and also the military. Some of you, you're protecting criminals and you protect Mnangagwa. You're not protecting the Zimbabwean people. I'm talking about patriotic Zimbabweans who are genuinely want to work for this country. You don't want. You want to protect a criminal and his criminal syndicates. I think the worst thing that ever happened to Zimbabwe was to allow a gangster to get into the office. Are you surprised where we are today? I'm not. I'm not surprised because Tendai BT explained it the way it is. I've always been saying it didn't take me long, like a week or so, to study Zimbabwe, and I was able to spot the problem. You allowed gangs to take over the state. What were you expecting? What were you expecting order when gangsters are running the state? And you know for sure that gangs are after money and protecting themselves. That's the only thing, money and protecting their tracks. And Mnangagwa did it so well. It's taking the money from the state, our hard-earned money, to protect all his gangs. Now he wants to turn Zimbabwe into a kingdom, because if he does that, he will never be held accountable, because a king does not rule he rules by decree. What he says goes. There won't be no elections. There won't be anyone to question. It means Mnangagwa, for generations and generations after him, will be living large. And look what's going on in Eswatini. People are bleeding with poverty, and that man is living large. You heard last time he borrowed 10 million from America. He's taking criminals in exchange of cash just to finance his luxury lifestyle. 16 wives, all of them own Rolls Royce, living ambience. But the people from Eswatini are starving. Are you surprised? This is what's going on in Zimbabwe. I even wrote today on Twitter. I said Zimbabwe was turned a kingdom a long time ago. Mnangagwa has been doing as he pleases. The war veterans that anointed him in the military are being taken like nothing. You heard what they said, then later they wrote. They even referred a decorated military guy, referring to General Chiwenga. He was told to go to Tepo School of Ideology. Imagine instructing a decorated military general to go to that small little space there where mentally deranged people are being initiated. And I actually said to someone, for those who actually don't see very clearly spiritually, Hebeshi Tepo School of Ideology is an initiation school for you to join a cult. Check everyone who went to that school if they still have their brains. Once you get in there, you come out a deranged man. Check everyone who is around Mnangagwa if they function normally. Again, things that we just look and think is nothing. No, this world is a spiritual world, guys. All that you see is being controlled by what you don't see. The actions of Mnangagwa, no, he's just not doing it like sober. No. Do you know that Mnangagwa moves around Nenganga Ichimu director what to do? Okay, for those who didn't know. All right. You also know that Auxilia Mnangagwa, Angarima Kumbipanganga, right? A traditional healer's assistant. What do you expect? Are you surprised today? Are you shocked? I'm not. This is why I'm saying the church, no, we are Christians. We don't get involved in politics. Hello. Before you know it, today you're going to be worshiping Satan. Because let me tell you, you want to tell me that you can talk about Jesus in a place where the devil is in control? Turning Zimbabwe into a kingdom is surrendering it in the hands of the devil. Mm-hmm. Let's listen to what Tendai Biti said. People are pa social media. People are very angry. Okay. So many people are furious. But trust me, we can be furious all we want. But what's more important now is for us to do the right thing. Freeman, he said, now we can talk about the National Coalition for Constitutional Democracy. We now understand our strength and weaknesses and what everybody brings to the table. It's time for us to come together. We now know where we stand. Set free. He said, that's why I always say people do not understand ZANU-PF. Chiwenga and Chamisa coming together will not work if Chiwenga is in ZANU-PF. I think someone said the very same stuff during the day that Chiwenga need to disregard ZANU-PF immediately. If he disregards ZANU-PF, he will be in a position to work with the people to destroy this monster that is ruining Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF. I think there's been a lot of conversation around social media. I'm going to bring some of the guys here who will be able to actually dissect what's currently going on in Zimbabwe now. At least be able to give us directions. And I also tell you, there are people working tirelessly in the background. They're not sleeping. They are not sleeping. Now I understand why people sometimes do own the struggle. It's because while you're sleeping and you're attacking and you're judging, some people are not sleeping. Try to resolve this mess that is going down in Zimbabwe. I can tell you now. Tavani Mpofu said ZANU-PF's resolution number 1 is an illegal and unrepentant piece of political buffoonery, an ultimate deus ex machina whose An intended beneficiary is the currently repulsive Chiwenga. In fact, unless ED fires Chiwenga, he has won big by reason of that resolution. Okay, so you see, unless the person that can win is actually Chiwenga. Okay. The real treachery, however, lies in the role of pseudo-opposition in its conception, passage, and imminent debate in Parliament against this. I'll scatter certain expletives tomorrow. For the real opposition, however, the stars will never align more favorably. The lines are falling in more pleasant places. You must, however, learn to see the right thing. Like I said to you, the whole parliament is pegged with foolish people. I've listened to some of them. And respectively so. Because if we had a proper parliament, we wouldn't be in this mess that we are in today. Do you know that there are people in the so-called opposition who actually blocked the impeachment of Emmerson Mnangagwa? They demanded money, but they went and be given more money by the group of Emerson and these criminals, and then they blocked the allegations. But the people that said it, I'm sure they know what they're talking about, blocked the whole impeachment thing. Mnangagwa could have been impeached. But again, you know, so many people that are there, they are Mnangagwa stooges. People that were pulled from the rural with no jobs, they don't even know what a parliament is. They're just being dumped in there. That's why there's chaos. Majority of them are just there to save Emmerson Mnangagwa's interests. It's a sad story. Jameson said Timber, he said ZANU-PF's 23rd resolution of today is silent on how it will be done. If it means changing the constitution, only a referendum can decide. And even then, the sitting president cannot benefit. Zimbabwe is ruled by law, not party resolutions. I, again, want to inform you. I don't know how to say this because I've been saying it. Guys, Zimbabwe is not being run by normal people. These are gangsters. Gangsters don't care about the law. They care about money and protecting themselves. How long are you going to see things as they are? How long do you want for you to actually be able to call things as they are and start pretending? Does Mnangagwa care about the law? Does he actually care at all? How much corruption that's going down under his rule? And he endorses it. He signs out money leaving Zimbabwe, stashed in foreign lands. You see people throwing money cash in Zimbabwe. You can't throw more than 10,000 US dollars, but my 200,000, 50,000, do they care? You see them sleeping on money. Do they care? These are gangsters. So to actually think that they will care about the constitution is madness. That's why this whole shende needs a pushback that is more of a fight than just a talk or a piece of paper, right? Look, they will change that constitution right under your eyes. And you know what they will do? They can unleash their dogs, the gangs. If you say something, go and kill, abduct, and torture. That's how gangsters operate. And you want to, just because they're coming here wearing suits, it doesn't make them normal people. Zimbabwe has never known peace, not because we have normal people in office. No, these are criminals. And the only way to take them down is by arresting them. Because you are talking about a constitution. Look how many people are taking money in Zimbabwe. It's so sad to watch because we've normalized the abnormal. Okay. That's the modus operandi of criminals, is they pay people to protect their tracks or to cover their tracks. There's no normal leader who can do what Mnangagwa is doing today. But we want to sanitize it and glamorize it or conceal it or making it up to feel good about ourselves. Or we want to call it, no, it's just a constitution. Hello? How many elections that were rigged? What did you do about it? Nothing. How many people that were killed, abducted, and tortured? What did you do about it? Nothing. You talk about a paper today. The fight is real. This fight is real. That's why I said, if you are sitting back and just, no, I actually don't care. I'm not into politics. Hello, sir, ma'am. This is no longer about politics. Some of us, we don't even care about political positions. We care about a functioning country. It's about us Zimbabweans to understand that we have a lot to lose. This time here is about sacrifice. If we have to die, so be it, guys. At least the country will be free. So this is a time where we call upon the police, every Zimbabwean. You forget about all your titles, the military, everybody. What happened in Madagascar is needed in Zimbabwe yesterday. What happened in Nepal is needed in Zimbabwe than yesterday. It's no longer an issue. So no, I'm gonna, no, guys, you know what? It's time to talk properly. Talk properly. Did you notice that so many people are not doing drug smuggling? Why? Because there are no jobs. That's the only job that they found, drug smuggling. They actually don't want to do it. As a sad story. Do you know the people that were arrested today? I saw the war veterans. My heart, I cried during the day. They were walking into a police station, no shoes. You can see fathers and mothers that have suffered in poverty. They were arrested yesterday by Mnangagwa's regime. The same Mnangagwa they will be supporting in 2017. And someone want to tell me about a constitution. Hello? They were being treated like dogs. They were beaten up yesterday by Mnangagwa's people. These mothers and fathers. And this is the Zimbabwe that you want Mnangagwa to turn into a kingdom. Guys, what you're seeing is nothing. What you are seeing today is nothing compared to what's coming. If we allow Mnangagwa to turn Zimbabwe into a kingdom. So this time around, if it's death, guys, we're dead already. There has to be a sacrifice. We have to go and we have to move. And Mnangagwa will not succeed. Whatever it takes, you will not succeed. So Ali's writing here that these are the people arrested yesterday for a demonstration. Meanwhile, those entrusted with the people's struggle misuse resources on prostitutes. Can I tell you what? There was so much money that was invested in actually organize the demos. But the money was taken and it was eaten. Again, goes back to, I don't want to hear about politics nonsense because you know what? It's a business for most of these politicians. They make quick cash. Millions and millions of dollars are paid to Zimbabwe during election time for your own information. And that money gets squandered by people who use you for their own benefits. I don't know how I can preach. Guys, I've always been saying, once everything is said and done, I'm happy to move around across Zimbabwe, teaching people how to identify a leader. How to identify a leader. What I'm seeing today is my game side. I am attacking an andrugona. I don't know the attacking an achachewa. Very interesting. There's so many commentaries that are going on around. People are saying, okay, Mnangagwa wants to anoint Tagwire, and also someone who was okay. I think this is an important message for me to read out for you. That was Temba Muniswa who wrote it in the morning. I think he knew what was actually going on in the background. So he said, viewing ZANU-PF as a party ready for transition, I would accept a presidium with Tagwire deputized or advised by Muchangwa, PV Svanda or Mudenda. These seniors can then step down after one term and younger cadres robbed into those offices. Do pano pindao vakaita seni. We can't be entangled in all these battles without ambition for these offices too. After 2030, with amendments of the Constitution, it is hazardous to also incorporate a structure that mandates a VP seat for a female leader such as Opam Chinguri. Again, she will stand down after a term and a younger person gets in. These various appointments will surface in messaging provincial and tribal tensions such as Opam from Manicaland, Muchangwa, Zezuru, Sivanda is from South, and Mudenda from Mateveleland. So they're already arranging that, Muchangwa, who will be the vice president or the advisor of Kudata Gwire, being the so-called Kudata Gwire, a criminal again a gangster whom they think can be the president of Zimbabwe. Just tell me, let me say this to you. Kudata Gwire will be worse than Mnangagwa. Because you see what is going on in Zimbabwe. He's the one that is actually organizing it. Mnangagwa mentally is no longer capable. So Kudata Gwire and some of Mnangagwa's children and other gangsters are the ones who are planning all these shenanigans because they don't want to go to prison. It's not easy to exchange ambience in the orange uniform from the prison. But let me say this to you, they will exchange that soon. Whether they like it or not, they'll be dragged. That's why I said this time around, I wish Nipah on Zimbabwe. I wish Nipah on Zimbabwe because what I've noticed is people are so disrespectful. Some of them need to be taught how to be human at all. What? Just to be human. Drag Van River, Zimbabweans this time around. And I'm telling you now, you fight like what South Africans do. They fight. South Africans who you have never seen, they don't care who says what. This time around, men are going to be men, women will be women. Drag the nonsense in Mukubisi River and deal with them. These people have caused us so much. And I'm not a spreader of violence at all. But if you're an idiot, you must be shown the door. You need to be taught how to behave like a human being. Because you have ruined lives. If you can drag innocent children, you dragged innocent children, you think we're going to be smiling at you? It doesn't work like that. In fact, there are allegations out here that actually Opam Chinguri's daughter is supplying drugs in Zimbabwe. I was wondering why Opam Chinguri always say yes to every nonsense that Mnangagwa does. The allegations that one of his daughter, Tanya, she is supplying drugs in Zimbabwe. All types of drugs. All types of hard drugs. It's very, very interesting. Very much interesting what's currently going on in Zimbabwe. Did you also guys saw a picture of Mnangagwa and Kudata Gwire hugging? Hugging! But I could see that hug was fake. Very fake. Because Kudata Gwire is a devil himself, Lucifer himself. And the people in the SDA, one day you're going to say that girl was right. That guy, you see, when a person uses the church, that's when you know how dangerous a human being can be. You can do all your shenanigans somewhere, but when you have the nerve to use the church of Jesus Christ for your dirty game, then you know you are worse than the devil, Satan himself. That guy, one day, I know you're going to say Rumbi was right. And I know I'm always right. I'm always right. Not always right, but sometimes I'm right. Not always right there. Honestly, I need to cut some of these wings. I'm not always right, y'all. I'm not always right. Anyway, so we're moving on to the issue of Miniyothabo Baloyi. So there are allegations. Again, I can tell you they came from Mnangagwa's camp. Because one of the game that Mnangagwa understood very well was to play people in ZANU-PF, was creating gossip. That one is said this, and people just cracking each other's heads. So it was difficult for Mugabe to lead that whole party because Mnangagwa was behind all the shenanigans. You can see now, he got into Triple C shenanigans, shenanigans. That's what he's good at, creating chaos so that he keeps you busy with dirty stuff. Now they're moving around some stories that Miniyothabo Baloyi wants to be the president, but they're referring to Chiwenga's wife. But also on the other side, we're hearing that also Auxilia Mnangagwa wants to take the reins. All right. All right, so Miniyothabo reminded you of what Chiwenga said. One of the things that I noticed that women are at the forefront of this fight this time around. Very important. When women takes the fight on, you know that you are in for a win. Yeah, because of your egos, you kind of waste time in all this back and forth thing. But women, when they fight a battle, they mean business. And most of the times, they win. And we are going to win. This one is not even non-negotiable. We are going to conquer. So she reminded you with the stuff of what Chiwenga said. And I wanted to repeat that because there's been conversation during the day. She said some of the highlights of Chef's speech yesterday. I'm interested when she call Chiwenga chef again. I mean, culture, you call men, I think in my totem, no, that is No, no, not is it chef? Not a chef man. It's not the shewe in our culture is calling a man is a lord or shewe. That's my language, right? Yes. Okay, but let me read what she said. We must always remember that we are not the alpha and omega of Zimbabwe's journey. 100%. Ours is to carry forward the torch passed to us by those who gave everything without expectation of reward. Some of them, like the late General Josiah Magama Tongogara, knew they would not see a liberated Zimbabwe, but still fought. They fought for the future, not for themselves. Those camps in Mozambique and Zambia were not just military outputs. They were altars of sacrifice, where pain, courage, and faith fused into a spirit of liberation. The fallen are watching us. Their blood demands integrity. Their voices cry out against corruption, laziness, and moral decay. Their blood did not water the soil for corruption, injustice, and moral decay. The bond between the party and the people must remain unbroken. The same unity that drove our liberation struggle must now guide us into the future. We must build a people-centered economy that empowers every Zimbabwean, not just a few. That is the essence of Vision 2030 and revolutionary continuity. I must say, for those that have not listened to the speech, I dropped it yesterday in one of the videos that I think the last video before this one that I'm doing right now. You guys can be able to listen to it. But there's been a lot of good words being spoken in Zimbabwe, but the action hasn't been really aligning with most of the statements. I pray for a day that Zimbabweans understand that your voice or your words should be you. I'm trying it hard, y'all. It's not easy. I'm working hard on this. Let people trust you. Be a man and a woman of integrity, because there is no integrity in Zimbabwe. There is no integrity in our country. We have a problem. And Chiwenga and Chamisa will rescue Zim from the 2030 nightmare and fundamentally transform the political landscape. That's my take. Hardware plus software, popular will, legitimacy, muscle to withstand the regime's expected pushback. This needs to happen in the national interest. And again, that was Brighton Matebuka, another attorney from the United Kingdom. He was also giving out his views. And he said this controversial post about a potential coalition agreement between Chiwenga and Chamisa, as unrealistic as it is, has generated a lot of views and debate. It's at 90K views, hundreds of comments at the moment. Have your say. I'll write an article about it. I'm gonna look out for that article because I know he's a great man. He knows his game. He knows his game. And trust me, Zimbabweans, like I said, there's a lot going on in the background. You may not, you see, guys, there's been a lot of deception that's going on in that actually happened yesterday. Okay, yesterday there's a lot that happened. Money was pumped in, but people did not do what they were supposed to be doing. Money was stolen. Okay, but anyway, God will deal with that. But the most important thing that I need you to know is that now most of the logistics are not going to be as loud as you may expect, because it's very important. Okay, even for me with my big mouth, like what? What? But I'm saying they can't say a lot. Okay, they cannot say a lot because it's very important, but action will be taken. Emerson Mnangagwa is going to be stopped. With you and me and every progressive Zimbabwean, he is not going to succeed, and he'll be shipped out, because this man is not fit for purpose. It's a waste of time. The lies that Zambi is telling today, I don't buy it. Mnangagwa is not anywhere near leadership. If I have to weigh him between 1 to 10, I'm going to give him 0 out of 10, because he is not even a leadership material. The guy is in his own world. He does not even have a clue of what leadership means. Neither does he have the vision for the country. The guy is clueless. And I've said it. I can repeat a million times. Anyway, this is dangerous. But I know some of you, last time you attacked me here. You didn't attack us, but you disagreed with me. I want you to listen to Chiwenga, your apostle Chiwenga. Take a listen to what he said about Chiwenga, the VP.
speak now, Mr. Chiwenga is facing the same problem. He no longer, I speak now, Mr. Chiwenga is facing the same problem. He no longer knows what to do with the monster himself. As I speak to you now, Mr. Chiwenga is now an unwanted element in Mnangagwa's government. It's a matter of days or weeks or months. They will spit him out. They will spit him up like a spent chewing gum. Come up with all sorts of allegations of crimes that he committed when he was vice president and replace him with a karanga, because Mnangagwa is a karanga commitment. He says mazezuru akadyawo nguva yawo yanguva yemakaranga. I speak now, Mr. Chiwenga.
All right, so I want to say this. I know Chiwenga, the apostle, is related to Chiwenga VP. They're kind of cousins, even though they don't see eye to eye because he has been very brutal towards him. I don't subscribe to anyone who drags their family member to social media and be humiliating them. I don't subscribe to that. Chiwenga is a VP. Chiwenga is a decorated general. He's a guy who's very much as you see him out there, but he's very private in his own way. When you are dragging your family member to social media platforms, it's disrespectful. That's how it's called, disrespectful. And for those that are following Apostle Chiwenga, I know you've been trying so much to protect this man. I've told you, when you say he's a man of God, guys, to be a man who hears from God and speak God's word, it's not something to play around with. I don't care what you say. He can be someone who's commenting on issues, fair play, like any content creator. And I respect him in that space. But when it comes to speaking on God's behalf, to be the mind of God, it's something that you don't play with. There's a lot of discipline around it. You don't just speak, because you are very mindful of what you say. And you don't have to be a man or a woman of many words. Because remember, you're accountable to what you say to the people. I'm very much against his disrespectful Vice President Chiwenga. Very much against it. He has said a lot of things. They've dragged him about family members, doesn't look after the family. It's not his responsibility to look after the family members. It takes a lot. He doesn't employ family members in the business. But we are complaining about Mnangagwa have dragged the whole of his family into the government. So where do you stand? You are just controlling a grown man with his children who is raising his kids. You want to tell him what to do. It's disrespectful. I love my family so much. I come from a family of 8, meaning I've got sisters who are married. I'm a grandmother, okay? I'm a grandmom. I've got a granddaughter, okay? That pushes me around to make rice for her every time, fried rice. Go, I want yellow rice, fried rice, and I'm going to run and make that rice for her. So I've got a grandchild whom I'm accountable to. Okay, I'm saying this to tell you, but I respect my siblings. I don't care. My responsibility and duty is to love them, but not to change them or to control them. It's not my responsibility. I owe them love. This man needs to be stopped. He's very disrespectful towards Chiwenga, his brother, his cousin, a VP and a decorated general. Sometimes we need to tell each other the truth. This man crosses the line all the time. This Chiwenga that you're talking about is a husband to someone who's got a wife and children. And he's your family member. All the things that talks about politics thing, sometimes we say a lot of stuff because we actually don't know. Mnangagwa cannot fight Chiwenga. I can tell you the truth here. He can't do it. He cannot do it. He knows very well that is the end of him. They can do all their dirty things that they're playing here. Like I said, you don't have to hear a lot now, because what they're doing in the background now does not need you to say a lot. But this man is going to be stopped. Mnangagwa will not succeed to turn Zimbabwe into a kingdom. Never. And he will be held accountable, including every criminal that he is protecting. All of them are going to be dragged where they belong, behind bars. This time here is the last meal that they're having. There will be heavy consequences. There's no way they can ruin lives and think they will carry on ruining lives. It's not going to happen. Anyway, I think the last comment that I'm going to read is for Tendai because this one is quite very long. But Tendai is a smart guy. I mean, Tendai, I like Tendai on one thing. Tendai is straight to the point. He's a bulldozer. He knows his game. And when he says things, he says it as it is. And I know I kind of subscribe to saying things as they are because I can't survive by just saying things that makes people feel comfortable. It doesn't work in my world. He said, Wanachi, they are on an auto cruise to self-destruction, indeed, the destruction of the nation state. A point of no return has been reached. Their resolutions will confirm this. A point on which multiple complex crises have all converged. An imploding economy, poverty, underdevelopment, a blood-corrosive leadership crisis, a constitutional crisis, a polemic crisis of extraction and looting, a tired, exhausted, clueless liberation movement with this tired, exhausted leadership force marches Zimbabwe into an implosion. 45 years after independence, Zimbabwe is caught in the time warp of underdevelopment, poverty, patriarchy, and inequality. Its rural areas are sprawling nightmare reproduction of a bygone era, a lost paradigm of contradiction and failure. Its urban townships are no upgrade. They are horror shows of degeneracy, decay, disease, vice, drugs, and unemployment. Yet there are men and women who, for 45 years, have masqueraded as a government. One which have been powerless victims of corruption and economic mismanagement. A people without agency or agency. Scandal after scandal, headline after headline. One which watched helplessly Gukura wound 30,000 of its citizens, leaving a community and a region paralyzed and broken to its very day. One which stood akimbo as they grabbed land and killed thousands in the name of land reform. But 25 years later, revolution has been turned on its head. One which guessed as they sent hundreds of compatriots to die in a war in the DRC, with no one neither understood or cared about. Over the years, they've destroyed the national currency. The Zim dollar was 1:1 with the British pound in 1980, but comrades did their thing. 45 years later, independent Zimbabwe has no decent currency except a vulgar pagoda appropriately named the Zig, that no one has ever seen and only exists in Reserve Bank of RBZ statements. In 15 years, Zimbabwe has been through 7 currency chances, 4 major bouts of hyper meltdown that has cost pensions, workers, and companies billions in savings, pensions, and asset values. In 2017, an elite rupture occurred, and the one which were put through the surreal dystopia of a military coup. Hardly 10 years later, Zimbabwe stands on the shoulders of another breakdown. This time it is about greed and the complete capitulation of the liberation movement to a cartel of ruthless gangsters. I underline ruthless gangsters. The liberation movement of Yebri Chitepo, Ndavaningi Stole, Lookout Masuku, and Dumiso Davengwa has gone anemic. It no longer can protect itself against charlatans, swindlers, and the allure of pieces of silver. It has developed collective amnesia. It does not recall the once upon a time it spoke of collective good and collective ownership. It has gone neurotic, jumping at the fall of a leaf. It has gone cannibalistic, voracious, devouring anything thrown at. It will devour any resistance to its feeding agenda. Anyone opposing the toxic 23rd agenda is the enemy of the people. It is now treason to expose corruption and to speak against the fat-bellied symbols of its shame. Those who died at Tembwe and Nyadzonya are now turning in their graves. Are not turning in their graves. They have leapt out of them in anger and disdain. But Zimbabweans remain firm believers in peace. They remain firm defenders of the Constitution and the rule of law. We are not hollow men. In times like this, we stand for truth and justice. We stand against criminals and those brought by criminals. We stand on the broad shoulders of Chitepo and Joshua. We say no to brutality and the rape of Zimbabwe. We say no to manipulation of a constitution. We are not part of ZANU-PF nor its toxic factions. We stand on principle the values that have defined our long struggle for democratic transformation. The citizen, therefore, longs for peace, for stability, for transformation, and the birth of a new Zimbabwe. A prosperous, just, equal, inclusive, green, modern society bound by the new consensus of hope, happiness, and transformation. I think I subscribe to this. We need a new Zimbabwe, guys. A new country. You and I, we should hold each other's hands and believe that is Zimbabwe is here. But action has to be taken. I'm saying action has to be taken. I'll be happy to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What's your take on the current happenings in our country? Do you think Mnangagwa will succeed with turning Zimbabwe into a kingdom? For an Apokelo to do as they please, driving expensive cars on potholes, guju. It's a shame. When your father-in-law is the president of a country, it is shameful. And billions of Zimbabwean dollars are stashed in Dubai, in Mauritius, in America, in United Kingdom. It's a shame and a curse. That money you guys are stashing, it will turn you into mentally drained people. Your children will be taking drugs for survival with that money because it's cursed. No one ever built an empire with people's tears. None whatsoever. No one ever did that. And you won't start now. So Zimbabweans, the time to fight has started. It is now. I love you, bless you, and bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.